This world needs you to show up and be exactly who you came here to be, and to trust that is more than enough.
As someone that is known for helping others create their most deeply fulfilling life, I'll show you how to do the same. We do it by following what lights your soul on fire and not settling for less than your highest potential. Learn to seamlessly blend proper health choices and mind-body connection to create somatic practices, energetic shifts, and self-healing techniques that will result in transformative wellness and self-discovery that lasts a lifetime. I'm Kim Shambaugh, a certified holistic nutritionist, intuitive, and Reiki practitioner. Welcome to the Never Settle Life podcast. Before we hop into today's episode, I wanted to take a second and just say thank you. Thank you so much. It's because of listeners like you that support this podcast by making a monthly contribution or just simply sharing it with a friend that we're able to keep this podcast going. It allows us to pay our team and share the awesome message of holistic health. So I just wanted to take a second and say thank you. If you want to check out more ways to support the show, check out the link in the show notes. Hello, my friend, and welcome to the podcast. We are trying a little bit of a different setup. You know me, I'm going to end up outside. We're going to play on the patio and hang out in the yard for as long as humanly possible in Cleveland for our 4 months out of the year while we can. So you're out here on the patio with me. I'm actually filming from my phone, which is super different. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I have enough battery for this. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about the audio, the microphone. I have a little plug-in mic that I'm using, but I really like it. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so we're going to talk all about energetic hygiene, how to protect your energy, how to optimize your energy. And this is especially important, I feel like, in this day and age, because we have everything jockeying for our attention. I heard a really good quote this past week in that our currency in this day and age is simply everything just trying to draw your attention. And it's so true because we're inundated with our obvious to-do list, the daily responsibilities, our work commitments, our family commitments, social commitments, the commitments that we have to ourselves and our health, and then add to that social media and things that we can easily use to tune out from the world. And it ends up, when we don't manage our energy wisely, we start to lose touch with ourselves and with our purpose. So my hope is that with listening to this podcast today, you can recenter yourself, you can reestablish what it is that you want to be doing exactly with your attention, with your time, and with your energy. So let's dive in. Today is the perfect day to do this. So this is going to be airing actually tomorrow. But today is the Leo new moon. We're here in August, and we're also within the Lionsgate portal. So if you guys that are not into astrology, if I'm losing you, just hang with me for a second. So a new moon is a great time to set intentions. It's like a fresh piece of paper. It's like a new start to a chapter. And whatever it is that you are putting intention to, wherever it is that your energy is focusing on, wherever your mindset is going, that is where you're going to, the direction you're going to go in. So this sort of is the time to plant the seeds. It's the time to set intentions. So maybe after this podcast, if you have a moment, journal what comes through. What are you ready to let go of? What are you ready to step into? Where is it that you need to call your power back and your energy back? Get really intentional with how you're going about this, and it's going to help you move forward with so much more grace and ease. Okay, so we cannot talk about managing our energy without talking about energetics in and of itself. I'm going to save this whole spiel for an entirely different podcast. We're going to get super sciencey, super nerdy, super geeky, but here is what you need to know. So the National Institutes of Health recognize the biofield as a field of energy and information that surrounds and essentially interacts with the human body as well as energy fields around us. The biofield is believed to interact with physiological processes, and it definitely influences our health and reactions to disease and things of that nature. So in what I do, if you guys don't know me, hi, I am Kim, and I'm an energy worker. I am a holistic nutritionist, and with the healing work that I do with people, with coaching and mindset coaching and Reiki, what I have come to understand through my experience is that our energetics interact with our brain, which causes a reaction in our nervous system, which causes a chemical reaction in our body, and therefore changes our hormones, it changes our DNA, it changes our, what you would call your epigenetics, your genetic expression. And it's very interesting how, acting on certain emotions or holding in certain emotions can have such a huge impact on your health in one way or another. So that's kind of where I want to set the scene here. Okay, so essentially your energetics are going to create your well-being, right? And if you are not feeling well, you can't live a life that feels at its best, right? Think of those days where you've gotten up, and maybe that day has been a day recently where you start your day, you feel uninspired, you feel drained, you feel anxious or worried, you feel kind of at a loss, you feel just kind of drained for all it's worth. It's time to get your energy back in check. It's time to get refocused. Okay, so we can do this through the mind and through the body, and I'm gonna give you some legit tactical, simple things that are free that you can do. Okay, so hang out with me, and you're gonna learn everything that you need to know. I'd like to take a break from today's show and tell you a little bit about my signature nutrition and lifestyle transformation program, the Elevated Transformation Experience. If you're familiar with the amazing before and afters that you see on my Instagram profile, then you have a glimpse of what kind of results this program is capable of providing. But ETE is so much more than a picture can explain. So I've created this experience to help you make changes in your life and nutrition that are sustainable. But what's the point of feeling good and looking good in your body if you're not fulfilled? So we do so much more than that. And this is about not only reaching those goals, but being able to sustain them long term. So whether your goal is to lose body fat, gain muscle, improve performance, whether it's mentally or physically, or even just your relationship with food in your body, that is exactly what this program was created for. So ETE is a journey with me where I invite you to elevate your mindset, master your energy, and experience the ease of living in alignment with the version of you that's thriving. This is not your mama's nutrition program. This is not some meal template. We do a deep dive so that way you can become the unstoppable force that you are meant to be in this world. Enrollment opens only one time a month for a week at a time, and after that, the doors close. I allow enrollment for just a few spots, so once we're full, we're totally full. This nutrition program is 100% virtual, and it was created to fit your busy life. The only catch is that you have to show up fully. You have to be willing to create lasting change in your life. So here's what you get by enrolling. You get a nutrition program created by me, complete with grocery lists and everything that you need to meet your needs. You'll have one-on-one monthly coaching calls with me to help keep you on track. On-demand access to me is needed throughout your program. Access to the ETE portal online, complete with nutrition and lifestyle resource guides, the Elevated Transformation Experience online course that includes videos and downloads, and you'll have access to the NSL group membership and so much more. My intention with creating ETE was to have a method for people to finally learn how to eat and live in such a way that removes the question, will this work? So if you're done with feeling stuck, if you're done with feeling like you're in a rut with your health and your nutrition and the way that you're living life, it's time to get on board. Check out the link in the show notes to learn more. Okay, so what's really interesting also about the body and the body's energetics is that we actually create a electromagnetic field. So if this is news to you, understand that every single organ in your body actually has an energy field. Your heart has the biggest field. And these fields can be measured through devices such as electrocardiograms, so ECGs and EEGs. So it's really interesting because science is really starting to step into energetics more and more. And in the past half century, we've really started to lean into this and started to make new discoveries in how energetics connect with the human body. Okay. So simply put, everything has a frequency. Absolutely everything. And if you live in a city, you're going to have more frequencies around you. There's more activity. So that's why a lot of people, like when they go to the country, they almost feel like they hit this reset button. So think of it kind of like a dog whistle. You know, if there's a lot of activity going on and it's just nonstop, it's like having a TV on in the background that has white noise. Eventually it feels irritating to the system. So too much activity around us can also result in the same thing. So especially if you are sensitive to sound as it is, or smells or things like that, it's a good indication you're going to be more sensitive to energetics and things of that nature anyway. Okay, so just some things to kind of like put in your pocket and start to understand about yourself. Start to observe here. So because everything has a frequency, our field is interacting with things all the time. The point of this whole podcast is not to show you how to sequester yourself. It's to show you how to understand your energetic hygiene. It's not about, quote, not getting dirty or not letting your field be disrupted. It's about how to reset yourself when it feels like you're bogged down, when it feels like you're overwhelmed. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about things that affect our energy in a general sense. So we have our physical energy, right? And we can have our energy affected by our emotions, emotional activity from others around us, environment, existential matters, mentally, socially, and things of that nature. So these are the things that we really have to keep in mind that are going to be influencing our energy, which ultimately influences our emotions. It influences our worldview and our experience of things, right? Okay, so let's talk about some very simple places to start. Your food and water and air quality. So taking care of yourself is so important. So eating enough protein, vegetables, complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and getting a variety of these things from whole food sources is very important. If nutrition feels confusing to you, I am here on a mission to simplify it. Okay, we're not about diets. We are about lifestyle change here, and we tweak it and adjust it accordingly depending on your goals. If you want fat loss, muscle gain, right? To keep it simple, shop the perimeter of the grocery store. So think about it. All of the processed food, all the packaged food that have a long laundry list of ingredients are throughout the aisles. The whole foods, which are, you got fish, you got meat, you got fruit, you have vegetables. All of these things are most likely on the perimeter of the store. So the closer it is to its natural form, the better it's going to be for you. You do not have to be a purist. Just understand what the ingredients mean on your ingredients list. If you want to take it a step further, go for grass-fed beef. You want to go for organic as much as possible. If nothing else, please look up the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 on the environmentalworkinggroup.org. You can find the latest crops and, which ones are essentially the most toxic. So choose wisely. You don't have to buy every single thing organic. Just be mindful. You want pasture-raised chickens, free range. We want wild-caught fish. So these are the things that you're keeping in mind. And then when it comes to air quality, do you have an air purifier? Do you know how bad the pollution is in the area in which you live? Do you have plants inside of your home to help purify the air? That's the cheapest thing to do. So mother-in-law's tongue is a great option. It's a very affordable plant. Money trees are a great idea. And then if you can afford an air purifier, if nothing else, do some digging. Start to understand, what's the quality of your air around you? Do you change out the filters in your air conditioning filters? Okay? Or in your air filters, I should say. Not air conditioning, but your air filters. And then, how's your water quality? Do you have city water? Please immediately go get a water purifier as soon as you can. It's so important. So we actually have city water out here where we live, and for the longest time I wanted to get a reverse osmosis filter. And they're not cheap, so I was like, all right, we're going to save up for this bad boy. It's going to be totally worth it. And I kind of just put it off. And essentially it came down to it. I was just getting headaches. I had a lot of muscle tension, a lot of fatigue. It was really interesting. And once we bought the reverse osmosis filter, it changed. It changed within weeks time. Within a month, I felt like a totally different human. So if you want to know too, your water quality, also go on environmentalworkinggroup.org and you can put in your zip code and literally see the chemicals that are in your water. It was a little terrifying. It's important to be informed about these things because they are affecting your health, which is going to affect your energy ultimately. Okay? Sleep and recovery, so making sure you're not overtraining at the gym, getting enough sleep, at least 7 hours a night, going to bed at the same times, not looking at your phone, right before bed. That's going to mess with your circadian rhythm. It's going to mess with your mental health as well. So on that topic of protecting your energy and social media, the internet, our devices, screens, right? This is huge. I feel like this is one of the biggest energy sucks there is. If you are unsure, I want you to take your phone right now. If you have an iPhone, I'm sure you can find this on an Android. Sorry, I don't know how to give you these instructions for an Android, but we're going to look at your screen time. Go to your home screen, swipe right, and you're going to look at your screen time. Where are you spending the most time? How much are you on social media? I believe it is the average person spends about 6 hours online every day. And we kind of think back to when TVs really became mainstream and they were calling it an idiot box, right? It was really looked down upon. And then, smartphones essentially have taken over the world, but it's so inundated into our culture, we're not really getting the same amount of attention, even though they hold so much more power than what a TV can offer, right? So it's really interesting to think about how much of your mental health is being affected by your device. How often are you spending time on social media, which is totally fine, right? The internet also helps us learn more than we've ever been able to learn. I feel like in decades' time that college will be obsolete to a degree. There's so much that you can learn online just simply at your fingertips through online courses and so many different things, right? But the thing is we have to be intentional with how we're spending that time. So are you using it on things that are feeding your spirit, that are making you feel really good and uplifted? And I'm not talking about like keeping you in your comfort zone feel good, but I'm talking about things that push you, things that challenge you and help you learn and also influence your mental health in a positive way. If you're using it as a measuring stick to prove how inadequate you are, you're using it to troll other people, you're using it as a form of creeping on other people just so you can hate on them, you're obsessing over the politics right now, the state of the world, things of that nature, we have to really think about the effect that this is having on our health. And I'm not saying to stick your head in the sand. So let me kind of give you some insight about how I personally handle this, and you're a free human to do with this what you will. I do not watch the news. I do not pay attention to any news outlets. I do not subscribe to anything that's going to give me any information like that. It doesn't feel good. I don't like to waste my time on it. Everything is dramatized. Unless you are absolutely living under a rock, it feels like all aspects of journalism are twisted and crooked and just really blowing everything out of the water, right? Like they're really blowing things out of proportion. And there's a lot going on in the world, right? Like there's some really rough things that are happening right now that are not being covered, that are not being talked about, right? So here is the way that I look at media in terms of the news. If I need to know about it, at some point, it's going to find its way to me. Every single thing that has happened that has been worth talking about has found its way to me somehow, some way. Whether it's through my friends or just, if you're on social media to a degree, you're going to see something. You're going to see what's happening, even if you're not subscribed to news outlets and things of that nature, right? So it's like, be informed, get your information, but don't stay on these topics. And unfortunately, the reason why we have such clickbaity, covers on YouTube and things that are blown so far out of proportion in terms of the drama of everything is because that's what we like to consume. So think of it this way. In terms of the economics of attention, the more you feed into the negative stuff, the more these outlets are going to be cranking that stuff out because that's what you like to consume, right? So at some point, if you want that to change, you're going to have to change the action. So on that topic too, a simple thing you can do if you're like, yeah, but I want to stay informed, how can I go about this? Maybe have your trusted sources set a time limit. Go on for 5 minutes and then stay off for the rest of the day, right? How many people do you know off the top of your head that are absolutely addicted to the drama, right? Don't let it steal your energy. It's set up to be that way. So don't fall victim to it. So another thing in terms of our devices is one of the worst things that we can do for our dopamine is to immediately hop on our phone. So I personally don't sleep with my phone in the bedroom. I have it in a totally different room, and that's very intentional. I found out when I was scrolling before bed and when I would wake up to all of these things that were vying for my attention, my stress levels felt absolutely through the roof. So the best thing you can do is an hour before bed and an hour after waking, no screen time. Take time to think your own thoughts, be with yourself, create your intentions of how you want your day to go. Instead of some outlet, somebody that you're following telling you exactly what to think, putting ideas in your mind already when you've not even had your cup of coffee. So take control of your energy in that way. Okay, so some other things that we need to keep in mind in terms of our energetic levels, and this is physical, this is our biofield, this is because it all connects, right? It interplays with each other. We need to keep our stress in check. So whether it's overwhelm, being overworked, mental stress, anxiety, worry, it's so important that we start to take charge of those things. And the idea is not to be stress-free entirely. The idea is to be adaptable when stress is thrown our way and get back to center, get back to a stable place with our nervous system as soon as we can so we can act accordingly. So instead of reacting, we are instead responding, which is a far different place to operate from. You start to be in control and you start to be able to live your experience in the way that you intend. Now, in order to do that, this also requires a lot of self-awareness and a lot of self-healing. This takes a lot of time. That's a whole different topic that we can go down. So if you've experienced things or you tend to repress emotions, that's really something to look into, right? That will greatly affect your energy. So the way this works is maybe we walk into a setting or situation and it creates a triggered reaction. Maybe somebody says something, or you just walk into an environment and it brings up some old stuff. Maybe you weren't even aware of it, right? The brain then sends signals out through your nervous system. And through those signals, we can fight, we can flight, or we can freeze, or we can fawn. And these are going to be patterns based off of previously lived experiences, upbringing, things of that nature. The more you can learn yourself, the more you can have the playbook on who you are and how you react, you can start to regulate your nervous system with much more ease. So the thing is, our nervous system is reactive because of our brain, but it's also reactive because of our body. So essentially, you can hack your nervous system, start to calm yourself down, start to self-regulate, start to soothe that anxiety and worry and reaction and overthinking through things like breath work, through things like meditation, EFT tapping, movement. So somatics, soma means the body. So you can do it through working out. You can find some sort of a flow state, go on a bike ride, paint, whatever gets you in the zone and calms you down. Do more of that. Have more alone time. Be able to reflect. Understand your experiences. Because the more information you have on that, and the more you take breaks and the more space you allow, the more you can bring yourself back to center. Your energetic system isn't operating on the ways in which you've been told it should be operating. You're operating from a place of intention in the way that you want to be living your life, not on what you, quote, should be doing or through others' expectations. When you start to live that way, and if you've done it for any length of time, I know you know what I mean in terms of it getting you into a state of tension, of perfectionism, of feeling, really held back and really held down. So being able to live in a way that you want to be living is so important for your health on every single level. And you have to take into consideration what season of life you're in, right? Are you really needing to hustle to grow your business? Are you a new parent? Are you a caregiver? Do you just have a lot on your plate right now? So understanding, it's not going to last forever. You have control of your life, right? And at some point, the season is going to pass. The season is going to get easier. It will likely come with pain as you go through a busy season. That is just life. But the goal here, and what I am here to do as a professional, is help you to be resilient and be able to work through any of those seasons. Be able to ride the waves of life without falling off the edge. And we do that through managing ourselves, managing our nervous systems, managing our energy. And you can do it. You can do it. Absolutely. So being patient with yourself, given your season, and then understanding your state of health as it is. Are you going through a healing crisis? Are you dealing with some hormonal changes? Are you dealing with emotions due to your outside circumstances? Control what you can and let go of what you can't. And this will ebb and flow, especially if you are a female and you have a menstrual cycle. This isn't a green light to go and, act a fool if you're feeling emotional. It's a way to understand, okay, I'm feeling a little more sensitive this week. I'm feeling a little more out of sorts. What do I need? Instead of shaming ourselves for needing rest, taking rest. Instead of feeling bad for communicating our needs to our partner or whoever's around us, doing that. Do you need more space? Do you need more time? Do you need more support? It's up to you to ask for it. And that will help you manage your energy so much better. Setting boundaries. This is crucial. Understanding who you are is step one. What are you going to tolerate? What do you want in life? What are those objectives? Who matters? I call it my board of advisors, right? So who are the 5 people that if you were in a crisis, you would call for advice? Because in whatever topic it might be, you would switch places with them. You know that they're wiser than you. You know they're going to have your back. These are the main people that matter. And then we have a layer outside of that, right? Maybe they're not our closest people, but they matter to us. And then we have our proximity people that we relate to. So maybe we used to be close friends, but we're just not on the same path anymore. You still keep them in the yard, but maybe they're not allowed into the house quite as often. So understand where people sit with you. And this isn't about totally cutting everybody off at every chance we get. I think we're starting to live in a bit of a self-absorbed society, and we're starting to lose connection because of the state of social media, because of the state of how we operate as humans in general. We're more disconnected than ever. So understanding what relationships are worth working on and creating boundaries with, and what relationships are needing to be let go of because they no longer serve us and they're actually bad for us. So that's really important. And giving people our expectations, it doesn't mean that you have to be a jerk. So there's codependence where you're relying on somebody fully. You rely on other people fully for your happiness, your safety, your health, like all these things, your love, your need to be validated. And then there's hyper independence. I don't need anybody. I got this. I'm on my own. I'm a lone wolf, right? Neither one of those are healthy or helpful. So what we have to start to do is create interdependence. Playing well with others, and especially playing well with others where it counts. Who are the people that matter? Who are the main players in your life, right? You definitely become more like the 5 people that you hang around the most. So if the 5 people you hang around are broke, obese, and unhappy, guess what? You're going to be the 6th. It's tough love, but it's the truth. So start to manage your energy by who you're spending time with, where you're spending your time. Okay, so let's get into the practical application of how to start to balance our energy, how to apply that energetic hygiene. So here are a few simple things that we can do. So simply put is an energy protection intention. So I do this as an intuitive and somebody that's pretty sensitive to energy before I go out, if I'm going to be around a crowd, if I'm around somebody or a group of people that I'm just not vibing with, and I can feel that it's just not a very fun, energetic match, or, it's just draining me. So here's what you do. So if you're able, take a moment and you're not driving, I want you to close your eyes. And you do not have to close your eyes when you do this in person. You can do this in a split second, and I'll show you the faster version here in just a moment. But I want you to imagine roots coming out from your feet and connecting to the earth. And I want you to, as you feel those roots connecting down into the earth, connect all the way to the center of the earth. Once you kind of feel that and you can imagine it in your mind's eye, I want you to, as you breathe in, draw energy up in through the earth, up through your feet, up out through the top of your head, and pretend like there's a fountain coming out of the top of your head and extending out. With each exhale, you're going to exhale any negative energy. Pretend that negative energy is flowing out of the crown of your head and being transmuted and transposed back into white, loving light. Okay? So we're going to take 3 breaths in, drawing energy up. Exhale, flowing out from the head, and then drawing energy up again. Exhale one more time, drawing energy up. And exhale. Now we're going to reverse that. So we're going to draw energy up from overhead. So I want you to pretend like you're a tree with branches and drawing those branches up into the sky, opening up the leaves, drawing in energy from overhead, soaking up that white light down into the crown of your head. So breathing in, drawing that energy in through the crown of the head. And I want you to imagine the energy flowing out through the bottom of your tailbone and releasing. Okay, so same idea, just in reverse. So drawing energy in, releasing energy back out. You can even release it through the soles of your feet. Releasing any negative energy from you. Draw in. Feeling that white light wash over you, flush out through the bottoms of your feet, being any negative energy being transmuted back into white loving light, and it just disappears. So now that you essentially are cleansed energetically, all you got to do is just put up a bubble, just like a shield around you. This can look any which way you want it to look. It can have an iridescence, it can have a color, it can have a density, it can be slick on the outside so no energy can stick to it. You can receive information, but nobody's energy can penetrate your being. Think of it that way. You can send and receive signals, but nothing sticks to you. It slides right off like a Teflon pan, right? So that is how you set your energy. So go ahead and open your eyes if you haven't already. So that's the extended version. You can do this every morning as an energy practice when you wake up, and just as a simple energy clearing before bed. If you get home after an event, you can do that as well. So when you do that, pay attention to the sensations that you're feeling in your body, right? Like I said, you're an energetic being and you can feel this moving through your body. So that's the extended version. Let's pretend like you are in a meeting with somebody, and for some reason they get heated and they start to come at you, and you can feel kind of those knives like coming out. Simple thing you can do is just put that bubble up. Shield of protection instantly, all the way around you, covering you in a 360 degree. You can hear it, you can sense it, right? But it's not sticking to you. If you tend to be extra sensitive, this is very important that you use this practice on a regular basis. Okay? So that is my simple energetic cleanse and energy protection intention. You can do that anywhere, anytime. You can do it when you get a drink at a bar. It just takes a minute, right? Like nobody knows that you're doing it. You can just put an intention to cleanse out any negative energy. Maybe the bartender had a bad day as they were coming into work, and now they're just kind of putting that crappy intention into everybody's drinks that they're making. Or if you're eating at a restaurant, right? This is the same idea as praying over your food. It blesses that food that's going to be entering into your body and renewing your cells, right? So it's very important that we start to pay attention to these things. So that's a simple practice. Some other things that you can do are Reiki healing. So that's something that I do. Essentially, you can think of this as what you just did for yourself, but you get to lay there and have a practitioner do it for you. And you can set an intention for what it is that you want to heal, whether it's your relationship with food, whether it's your self-worth, your relationship with a certain person, or you just want to recharge yourself back up. So that's something really nice that you can do. My clients describe it as having a massage from the inside out. They're like, I feel like you just took my spirit and wrung out all the negative stuff and just charged me back up, right? So that's a really common response that I get with that. So your fascia health is super important. I'm going to be doing a whole extended podcast on fascia, but in short, if you don't know what fascia is the connective tissue that runs all throughout our body. So it connects every bone, every vessel, every organ, every muscle throughout our body. Think of it like this giant spider web. And within this giant spider web is our nerves. And within our nerves, we have liquid and we have energy, right? So it has an electric charge to it. When our muscles get adhesions, when we're tense, we start to cinch off energy from certain areas of the body, right? This is why we do acupuncture. But you can also do acupressure massage and fascia release techniques, which we're going to be diving into very deeply coming up. So stay tuned for that. Breath work, another amazing way to move energy through the body, uplift your vitality. We talked about acupuncture, grounding techniques, which is exactly what we did with that intention. Getting your feet on the ground is super important. So everything has essentially things that are of earth have a conductivity, right? So getting your bare feet on the ground and being out in nature in general is going to reset your energy. What I like to do every morning is come out here barefoot, go into the yard, sit in the sun and do a meditation, right? It's the most hippy dippy shit, but I swear to you, it freaking works. It recharges me and gets me amped up for my day. So think of things that feel like energy givers. What makes you feel good? Is it a good hair day? Is it a good conversation? What are energy drainers? Is it the smell of chemicals in your home? Is it, somebody that is really tough to deal with? These are also signals that you can lean into to give yourself more of certain things and less of certain things. Sound healing is so powerful. So singing bowls, tuning forks, even sort of different sort of frequency music you can easily find on, YouTube or Spotify. So paying attention to the music that you're listening to. It has a frequency as well. Music is very, very powerful. So essentially, sound vibrations are going to help to align and balance your body's energy field, but it can also throw it out of whack. So this is why if you listen to music and you don't like it, this is simply why you don't like it. It's literally not vibing with you, right? And same goes for people. Like if it's not the vibe, it's not the vibe. So go spend your time somewhere else. Smudging and saging is super important. So burning a little bit of sage that's been ethically grown is very important. You can use Palo Santo, you can use incense, and this is an ancient practice. Essentially, you just waft it throughout your home. Make sure you open your windows because you want to make sure your air stays clean, and set an intention with that. It's the perfect time to do that. Again, during a new moon, during the portal that we're in right now. Super, super helpful. Okay, so if you to go on a quick tangent in terms of working with the moon, because if people are kind of weirded out by that, think of it this way. Farmers still, to this day, that are not even remotely into astrology, plant their crops with the moon. Okay? There's something to that, to reap and sow at certain times. So think of it that way. Crystals are actually very useful. Hear me out, all right? If you're not a crystal girly, or you're one of those guys and you're like, oh my gosh, she's a crystal girl, like I'm out. Hang on a second, okay? There are gemstones and crystals everywhere around us. If you're looking at me right now, you're watching me through a device. There are crystals inside of your computer, your TV, your phone. Glass, your countertops, our vehicles, so many things, you guys, okay? They have an energetic charge to them. You can recharge them in certain ways using sea salt, under the moon, okay? If it resonates, go for it, all right? No shame. So that being said too, with sea salt, taking Epsom salt baths are really helpful. They're very affordable. It's a really simple, easy way if you feel absolutely drained or you're just tired. Maybe you had a busy work event or something that just sapped you. It's a really, really great way to recharge your system and your body. Putting magnesium in your bath is really helpful too. So to add to that with nutrition, adding in electrolytes, okay? So your minerals and things of that nature, you can get supplements, but you can do a high quality sea salt like Celtic sea salt, and a half a lemon or lime in water every morning. It's going to also charge your system. Literally, I'm going to say it, drinking moon water. Okay, for real, if you put crystals in water and you charge it up under the moon or the sun, come for me, I don't care. It makes a huge difference, and you can actually set intentions. There are studies on this, you guys, okay? Go look up the book Real Magic by Dean Randon, and the studies are listed in there. You can speak intentions into your water and it will absolutely change the molecular structure. So putting crystals in water will heighten that. So you can literally, you want to take it, to the extreme and do it, set intentions with your water. Take a little bit of that water, keep a big jar in your refrigerator with some crystals in it, put intentions into it and positive things into it, like literally just kind of pray into it. Speaking it is very powerful. And put it under the moon. I'm telling you, like after a day of full clients, I will take my moon water. I hope you guys aren't turning this off right now. Just hear me out here. I take a little bit of that moon water and I put it into my water bottle. And it feels like, I swear to you guys, it feels like I had a really long, satisfying nap and walk in nature. That's exactly what it feels like. Don't knock it till you try it, all right? Don't come for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this today. We went all in. We gave all the goods. I would love to hear what you have tried. If you try some of this stuff, I want you to come back, comment on this video, share it with your friends. If you lose your way and you're feeling drained and burnt out and overwhelmed, come back to this, all right? It's our little spot on the internet where I'm here to encourage you, recharge you, and remind you who the hell you are. I hope you have a great freaking day. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Never Settle Life podcast. I would love to have your rating and review, so let me know how you liked it. If you liked this episode, please share it with a friend and someone that would really enjoy it as well. Let me know what you'd like to hear more of and send me a comment in my latest Instagram post at Never Settle Life on Instagram. Until next time, I'm Kim Shambaugh. I'll talk to you soon.
Being afraid